Morning, everyone. Perpetually delayed guy here to discuss something that happened basically 2 months ago because, well, I'm busy and I had returned to office this week, okay? Not good. And just for clarity, I was going to do this no matter what. Just to be clear, I was going to do a video on New Glenn Flight 1. It's called Integrity, okay? So let's just start with New Glenn 1. By the way, my sleep cycle still hasn't recovered from that. Thanks, Jeff. Where's my sleep? Okay? Gosh. So I watched New Glenn 1 on the live stream. It was very spectacular. This flight is a success. Woo! Now, obviously, Blue Origin didn't land the first stage, but considering that this is the first flight of a brand new system, I would be far more lenient on them than with somebody else. Also, people aren't weird about it. So that's not good, but first flight, first time for everything, right? Now, stage 2 did explode during passivation a few weeks ago, which that is absolutely not good. Blue Ring is supposed to be the little space tug thing that they launch payloads on, not, stage 2's debris. So that's not good. That's something they absolutely have to fix. Now, obviously, Blue Origin knows far more about how well New Glenn actually performed in their first flight than you or I do. So there might be things like vibration, loads, thermal issues that we don't know about that they do. But visually, based on what they've been saying publicly, this is a great success. Good job, Blue Origin. Congratulations. It's kind of easy to see a path forward for New Glenn becoming an operational launch system. I hear they're planning to launch later this spring for the next flight. So let's see how well that goes. Now, before any of you ask, since I do this with videos like this, why did New Glenn take so long? Right, it was supposed to launch like 5 years ago. What's going on? The answer is New Glenn is a 1,500-ton, roughly, gross liftoff weight launch vehicle. You're going to have issues with it as you're building and developing this system. And on top of that, Blue Origin actually hasn't really built an orbital launch vehicle before. So Blue Origin will have problems building New Glenn. That's just the nature of rocket development. Now they also have to learn how to solve problems as Blue Origin does to build their launch system. So it's double the problems, plus whatever organizational issues they might have had during this. Obviously, I don't know what internally was happening at the company. I'm an outsider looking in, so there's probably some of that going on. But this is good. So it turns out slow and steady does win the race. I'm not going to do another Starship video until something interesting happens. So once they get farther along and start trying like orbital flights, maybe I'll do a video. Or if one of the next flights between now and then, I don't know, explodes. Okay, so I'm cursed. So IFT-7 was a failure. Starship exploded over the Caribbean and spread debris all over the Turks and Caicos, despite SpaceX saying, no, they didn't. Don't say the debris flew out of the flight corridor. Oh my gosh, which they had to lie about that. Now they obviously don't now, but debris landed in those islands because Starship veered off the flight course and self-destructed. They caught super heavy, which I don't care. That's nice. What about the Starship part? The part that has to go to orbit with the payloads on it? I mean, I guess you could say this is innovation. SpaceX finally found a way to deliver Starlink straight into the ocean without even having to throw it into space first. This is innovation. You skipped an entire middleman in the process. I'd go through Elon Musk's Twitter account because I think he tweeted out what the actual problem was on this flight, but right now he's in the middle of insulting an astronaut because the astronaut called him out on his lies and he had a meltdown. Don't do drugs, kids. And frankly, I don't actually care about what this technical problem was that blew up the vehicle, because the real failure here is the Starship program itself. This is the 7th flight of the vehicle, and it exploded again. Now, I saw this tweet by an alleged SpaceX engineer saying, yeah, but this is a new configuration of the vehicle. I mean, stuff's going to happen. Yeah, as we all know, Falcon 9, every time there was a block upgrade to it, it would just explode in flight. Oh, wait, that didn't happen. What is going wrong with this program that this keeps happening? And that's a question that SpaceX needs to ask itself. And not in a, what's going on, guys? More of a, yeah, why is this happening? Because this is the 7th flight of the system. and it failed again. What's going on? Why does this keep happening? Because from what it sounds like, from what I remember, that failure mode should have been caught way sooner. So why wasn't it? Does SpaceX have no internal review process to catch failure modes? Or is the failure mode caught and ignored? Or the flight hardware is already built? Why does this keep happening? Now, SpaceX also likes to talk about, we collect all this wonderful data on these flights. That's nice. Do you use this data? I don't know. I don't know why this keeps happening. SpaceX, instead of gearing up for Flight 8, because that's going to happen in like a week or two, apparently, they should probably restructure their program to stop having this happen. Because again, Flight 7, even Astra had made it to orbit by this point in their flight test program, and they couldn't even bother to finish their rocket. That's why they kept failing, by the way. Astra's failures were all because they just couldn't be bothered to finish it, finish the development cycle. Why is this still happening? It's a program problem. It's badly organized, it's badly structured. This commitment to high cadence, lots of flight testing, cranking out hardware, doesn't work. It would work if they could be bothered to do the basic work on the ground first. That's my answer. The diagnosis still stands. I'm beating the dead horse here, okay? Okay, I forgot to bring up Artemis, the other thing I actually really care about for this program. And we're assuming, of course, it survives the next few years. In terms of SpaceX's ability to deliver Starship HLS in a reasonable time frame, I do not believe they can do that at this point. Starship right now can barely do basic operations, and for HLS, it's supposed to be able to do large-scale cryogenic propellant storage and transfer, let alone the whole HLS landing profile. If they can't get this thing to go to orbit properly and survive basic mission operations, how are they supposed to pull off HLS? Also, they're still violating environmental laws, even though those apparently don't matter anymore. Now, I know Flight 8's coming up, and I've heard rumors about what Flight 9's going to be, but I'm not going to say anything about them because something will happen. Okay? I am cursed. I don't know why this keeps happening. I am cursed. Now, there's a final note. Obviously, current events have happened in the United States since these two flights. I don't want to talk about them because it's not really my purview, and if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. But watching the reactions to the victory of Trump, I saw some interesting things said and believed that I wanted to talk about regarding the spaceflight. A lot of interesting opinions. Now, my favorite ones were the people saying, it's going to be a new roaring 20s with Trump. And they'd post a video montage of all these cool technological things that did not happen in the 1920s. In fact, they happened after the 1920s. And of course, as we all remember, the roaring 20s ended with the booming 30s, right? It ended well, right? But in spaceflight, I noticed something that, well, I made a video. I was going to make a video. This is the thumbnail I was going to use. And, well, you can kind of guess what it's about. And this is the one line that I know I was going to include in the video. This was the only line I had written. There are space advocates who would willingly and gleefully stand guard at the Mittelwerk if it meant they could go to Mars. Space is for everyone. Anyone and everyone. Space is wonderful. It's beautiful. It's everything that's not down here. Space is worth exploring. It's worth visiting. And if we can and choose to do so, it's worth settling. But space should come to the benefit and even expansion of our humanity, not at the expense of it.